Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to TopDeck MTG, where today, myself, Ixalan joined with JP Player 1127 and Pithy Morrow, are talking about our favorite cards from the new upcoming set, Rivals of Ixalan. So, let's dive right in. Alright. And Pithy, is this you?
Yes, this is me.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah. So, easily my favorite legend from the set is Alenda, the Dusk Rose. She just does everything I love. Whenever creatures die, she gets bigger, and whenever she dies, she just drops a whole bunch of creatures. So it's very scary if she's really huge and someone board wipes. And also, you gain a bunch of life if she hits somebody. So that's pretty
cute. Is there
cute.
ways in white-black to put counters on this? Is there a way to abuse that?
You got the, you can give her flying with the Abzin, Falconeer, and stuff like that. Oh yeah,
you got all the Abzin. Outlast matters.
Yeah, but unfortunately the white one isn't really good because it just gives lifelink. So it's pretty just...
Well, there's Einok Bondkin too. That's the first strike one.
It's probably pretty good with Bolster too.
Oh yeah. You got that in white.
Like I said, the only real problem with her though is she's a 1/1, so you're not really getting much value if she just dies immediately. You just get one token, but she's really fun to build around. I already built a deck for her. So.
Are you serious?
Yes, because I had an original commander which was Ghost Council of Rozova. I basically just replaced it with her.
Okay. Alrighty. Next card.
The Plunderer is basically just another pawn of Ulamog and Scepter of Skulls, except it doesn't have the non-token clause. So it actually combos very well with those cards, because you can sack a Scion or spawn and get a treasure. So you basically double your mana for each of those you sack.
Oh wow, I never noticed that.
It's good, yeah. I heard.
And it's also a good blocker too. It's 1/4.
I heard it combos well with Marionette Master.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it makes a treasure.
Yeah, and then that's also an artifact, so you get double the damage if you're sacking an artifact creature.
Yeah. It's a pretty good card, and plus, he's looting dead bodies, Shame to let good gold to go to the grave.
Why is he eating the gold though?
You gotta check if it's real.
Making sure it's
biting it.
Yeah, you make sure it's legit.
You gotta get that fresh human taste,
Yeah, because you think that the dead guy's holding fake gold in his pouch.
Hey, he might have just robbed somebody, and the person he robbed had fake gold.
That's true. That's true.
That'd be unfortunate.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's talk about Vona's Hunger.
So I'm thinking this card is absurd in Commander, just because edicts usually aren't really good because I think every edict pretty much targets one opponent or one player, and this hits each opponent. And if you have 10 or more permanents, you just nuke half their creatures, which is pretty crazy for a 3-mana card.
And especially if you have something like Dictative Erebos, it's just their whole board, right? Or is that?
Oh, it only hits opponents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Dictate hits whenever a creature you control dies. But funnily enough, works with Alenda very well.
Yes,
so you can just get a huge amount of counters.
It's just another creature, yeah, because Alenda is...
God, that's disgusting.
I feel like Ascend was their way to make really good card for its commander without making them broken in Standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
But tokens can really take advantage of Ascend cards, or even just vampires, because they have so many ways to make tokens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just as a couple of hoops.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, Vona's Hunger seems insanely powerful. The great thing about the City's Blessing is that once you have it, it's yours. You cannot lose the City's Blessing.
Yeah, unlike the Monarch, which that was the biggest problem with that. If you want to take it, somebody's going to hit you for it, too.
So yeah, I really like that. Yeah, let's move on to the next suite of cards here. Got Itali Primal Storm. Let's talk about that one.
This card is absurdly powerful. Just swing in, draw 4 cards. Is basically what this card reads. Except it's not just your cards; it's your opponent's cards. So if you're playing mono red, you're really low on interaction for pretty much everything that's not artifacts. So you just get like Swords to Plowshares or Return to Dust and stuff like that, and you can just go to town with that and get huge discounts on creatures and other stuff like that. I think this card is basically a mono red staple. It's very powerful for commander.
Do you think this is a good commander or better in the 99 of some decks?
Well, if you're playing this as a commander, people are going to see this as a threat. They didn't want you drawing all these cards. They didn't want you casting their cards. So they're probably going to kill you pretty fast. So I say it'd be better as a 99 card. No. So, yeah, I would say he's just better in the 99 just because you won't get killed immediately. You won't be the prime target because this card's pretty powerful.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. I feel like, though, that he takes advantage of if you're playing a slower deck. And if you're playing a slower deck and you're mono red, you're probably dead, like, pretty early. So.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, a lot of these seems... It's not my favorite Elder Dinosaurs, I'll talk about it a little later, but it is very, very powerful. Like, one attack from this guy would be enough to end games sometimes in Commander.
Yeah, cast all those Eldrazi's for free. That sounds good.
All those banned cards.
Think of like crazy combos.
Infinite combat step. Draw infinite cards. That sounds good.
Oh my god. Anyways. Let's talk about Slaughter of the Strong.
So this is another card. It's basically similar to Vona's Hunger, except it's just... In some cases, it can be game-ending for some players. Because, like, most people, like, board states don't, like, a lot of creatures aren't really good in the lower powers. So, like, if they're not playing, like, a bunch of 4 power creatures, and they're playing a bunch of 5s and stuff, so they have to sack those. They can't ever choose those. And then usually the creatures with the bigger power are the more powerful creatures. And it's really hard to just, like, avoid it, because, like, oh, look, I'll save my 3 mana dorks, and, yeah. I'll lose all my good stuff.
Yeah, that card, I looked over it the first time I saw it, because I was more thinking of a standard point of view, but in Commander, this card seems backbreaking.
Yeah, and not to mention, there's stuff like Doran, or, like, wall decks that have, like, 0 power,
Jeez.
So you just one-sided board wipe.
Oh, goodness.
And you're just like, oh, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, Doran falls in love with this card.
Is it just me, though? Or is the art really conflicting? Like, it's like a really, really pretty, like, background with the light shining, and then it's just like, oh, the dinosaur just died.
And I like how the title is Slaughter. Like, is that an appropriate word for this serene art?
Yeah. It's like the poor little 1/1 is just like, man, my prized pet is dead.
And then my only question is, it says that it's like said by like Vona of Ito, which is a like vampire, but it doesn't look like there's any vampire in the picture.
Maybe it drained all the dinosaur's blood first.
That would be like some weird carcass then. Well done if you could drink all the blood out of a dinosaur.
Hey, challenge accepted.
And then you see a plump Vona walking around with all that blood in her.
She's like weighed like 800 pounds. Like, what happened to you? Oh, I sucked some dinosaur's blood. I'm strong now. She'd be like, you like poke her and she'd like burst.
Yeah.
Alright, now, this card you stole from me, because it was also one of my favorite cards. But let's talk about Wayward Silvertooth.
And also my favorite.
So, I love this card. My favorite green card is Azusa.
Oh,
and I love playing extra lands. I love doing it. So, like, this card was perfect. And it's like, oh, a 5/5 beater? I'll take that. I'll play extra lands and beat your face in. Sounds good.
But I remember when I first saw this card spoiled, I'm like, so what's the downside again? Like, You have to have the city's blessing for it to attack or block. Cool. What else?
Yeah, and it looks to me that it's just so much better than there's that like 2-mana guy that was a 2-mana 5/5 but can only attack. It was in like
Lupine prototype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is just so much better than that. Like I know it's 1 more mana, but like it's so much more value.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lupin Prototype's just a bad card.
Hey,
I mean, this can also crew. And,
well.
Yeah.
I hate that argument.
No, I mean, so does this.
True, but this card's actually
Turns
good. Go ahead.
This turns on Ronos too.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is with this and Ronus and a card I'll talk about a little later, Galta, it gets pretty insane. Because you play this, you play an extra land, your Galta now costs 5 less.
Yeah.
You're set up pretty well next turn. I know, it's gross. So yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite cards. It's pretty insane. Look out for this card in every format. It's legal.
Yeah, combos pretty well with Ramunap Excavator too. Just crack all the evolving wilds.
Get it back.
Yeah, I think in Modern, what it would be is a budget Azusa, because Azusa is used in that kind of style, but she's so expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, for you Amulet players out there looking to get a start and don't want to spend down payment on a car on Azusas, think up some Wayward Sawtooths for now, and just chill with those until you get Azusas. This card's very good.
I wonder if the increased resiliency, like it not dying to Bolt or like Fatal Push. I mean, I guess Azusa also has Fatal Push, but like, yeah, but like it dying to Bolt, like that's like pretty helpful because it's not that weak.
Yeah, there's not a lot of cards in Modern that can deal with this, like Path, and like Terminate.
You're pretty happy if they kill it with like a Dismember or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my main place for this is like Commander and Standard, but it could see some splashes in Modern. This card seems very, very powerful.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Twilight Prophet. Let's talk about that.
The EDH Bob is what people are calling it. The only quote Bob that is good in Commander, because it's the only one that doesn't actually kill you.
What, you don't like flicking 10 drops to Dark Confidant?
No, I do not. But yeah, this card's powerful. Yeah, you do have to wait till 10 permanents are in play, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Because the game's going to go long enough to where you're going to be destroying your opponents with this card. Because you get card advantage, and you're literally just draining their life out of them. Yeah. So,
this card
pretty good.
Very good. One of my friends is actually really excited to play this card in Standard in a Vampire deck. It's just like insane. It's insane card advantage and disadvantage for your opponents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a very big fan of EDH Bob.
It's just like it's so good that I know that like Ascend has to be turned on, but like once Ascend is turned on, it can close the game out pretty quickly, and it's
for sure.
Yeah.
Also drawing you cards in the meantime. It's like.
But unlike Bob, it feels bad when you flip lands to it.
Yeah.
If you have a way to like set up your deck though, like you Worldly Tutor for something, and then you flip that.
You hit like
Critter Hoof Behemoth or something.
Yeah.
9 everyone please. I will gain 27.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a 16 drop?
Draco, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I always say this is going to be in like every one of my black decks because it's just that good.
It's just a slam dunk.
Yeah.
It's good. Very, very good. For all y'all black Commander players out there, pick this up. You'll want it in your 99 somewhere.
Yup.
Alright, this is one I didn't expect to see. Journey to Eternity. Let's talk about that.
I love these type of effects. To have a creature die and get a benefit.
Marin.
And which this goes into. And then it's just like oh, it flips and it's like, oh yeah, I could spend 5 mana to bring any creature I want back from my graveyard. I'll take that. It's pretty good. Because like, imagine just having a Worm Coil die and bringing it back immediately.
Yeah, it's gross.
I mean, this is literally like a Marin effect, almost.
It is.
And like that's already scaring me.
Yeah,
This card
And
seems
it's on
disgusting
land.
in the late game.
it does. And for sure, like I have like 3 Jund decks, that personal Jund decks, and I'm definitely gonna get a copy of this.
Good God. Like, even if
I know-
something like Prosh would love this card. This is just insane.
So
Yeah.
this means that Strip Mine is no longer a spite card; it's now a tech card,
It's
which is
now a
kind of
must.
scary.
Yeah, you need to be playing Strip Mine, Ghost Quarter, and Field of Ruin. Just make sure you don't lose to these cards.
And if you can, Wasteland.
Yeah, which hopefully you're not spending that much money on a Land Destructions card.
A card that's actually not on this list that I want to talk about briefly is Blood Sun. What do you feel about that card? Like, because we're talking about these non-basic lands, like as tall, and all the other flip lands. How do you feel like Blood Sun works with all that?
So there is a lot of like creature lands and utility lands that are within Commander. So Bloodsun is fine for Commander because, like, especially with the introduction of all of these new flip lands, because all of them have activated abilities that aren't mana abilities, pretty much, and it's just really good against those. But I don't know, because you have to really restrict yourself on what you want to, because you can't play creature lands yourself because you're going to hurt yourself.
I think that Blood Sun, though, you could also build like your mana base around it a little bit, like with the bounce lands and like duels.
Or you could just play mono red and have Valakut as your only non-basic land. That'd be good.
Or Blood Moon, that's strictly better Blood Sun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
actually, it's not strictly better in all cases, though, right?
True. But in most cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Blood Sun shuts down fetches.
Yeah.
So if you have a really fetch-heavy
if you're
play
playing like Death Shadow, Windmill Slam that thing.
Yeah, I feel like that Blood Sun versus Death Shadow could be like really good.
Also,
and that's like the only case.
Just noting, there is a modern deck called Sun and Moon that can now run Blood Sun and Blood Moon. Make it happen, people.
Yeah.
But yeah, Blood Sun, it's okay. It's my main thing with it. It's like, it's not as good as Blood Moon. It doesn't turn off Tron. It doesn't turn off a lot of good stuff. But it does turn off stuff like Dark Depths, which is good. So, we'll see how that card journeys.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on with our list, starting with, oh god,
Alright,
pronouncing name.
Alright, I'm gonna go with Nezahal Primal Tide.
Nezahal?
Nezahal?
That's what I'm going with.
Alright, Nezahal, Primal Tide.
Nessie.
Nessie.
yeah, we'll call it Nessie. Alright.
Alright.
So I think that Nessie is exactly my kind of card. Can't be countered versus all the people that probably counter whenever I play, alright? And it draws me cards. Like, what more could I want?
Yeah, it's a big, massive creature with a Mystic Remora attached to it. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Plus, like, it gives me... Like, the no maximum hand size is actually pretty relevant. Especially in Commander. So, like, I just feel like all around it's a pretty fun card. Well, fun for me. Or whoever's playing.
You know what this actually reminds me of? It reminds me of Pearl Lake Ancient. Just this giant, dumb blue creature that comes down really late. Except Pearl Lake Ancient is pretty trash, while this card is, like, actually playable.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. I don't know about Standard. Like, it's a little expensive, and, like, they can just play a rule spell on it the second you play it, but I guess it draws you a card, yay!
And you could discard 3, which is a lot, to bring it back. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it's fair Leovold, because they realized their mistake with him.
You know they built him 4th tiny leaders too?
Oh my god.
They built him with tiny leaders in mind. Like, did you not build him with Breaking Legacy and the Commander in mind?
They're like, what are those formats?
Well, yeah, because they don't really support on MTGO. So.
Yeah, when I look at Nessie, I see for Standard a card that's a 1-of in the sideboard for a control mirror. Like, if you're playing a control deck, I could see 1 of them in the sideboard. It's kind of like, because there used to be like a Sphinx with the final word. And it seems okay in that, but everything else is just way too slow.
Do you think this compares to Sphinx of the Final Works? I think that's probably a better finisher, but this card looks more fun.
I think Sphinx of the Final World is a lot better in the control mirror because they literally just can't deal with it a lot of the time. Well, this they can. But if like this sits on the battlefield for more than like one turn, it's gonna draw you cards and you'll probably win with it.
Yeah.
All right.
It kind of needed flash though, yeah.
Yeah, if it had flash, this card would be insane. Let's talk about Kunema's Awakening. I don't know about this card.
All right, so the Howling Mine effect is a little bit overcosted, which is fine, but I think that the fact that once the Send comes on, that it draws you a card every turn, like really outvalues that, just because the chance of them wasting enchantment removal on this is pretty low, because it's not that threatening with enchantment. And then if they do waste enchantment removal on it, it's like, whatever, I've already drawn like 5 cards off it at that point, probably. Because they're not going to kill it when they draw cards too.
Fair.
So I just feel like it's a good card drawing spell that is kind of group huggy at first and then helps you later in the game.
Yeah. So I'm like half and half on this card.
Yeah.
I hate group hug effects, but I love drawing cards by myself. So I like the Ascent. When you have Ascent, I love it. When you don't have Ascent, I don't like it. I just don't like giving my opponents resources. That's just me.
Yeah, fair. When I look at this card, I see something that could fit into like a band or 4-color group hug deck. And I know we were talking about earlier, like good Howling Mine effects only for you. And the only one we could think of was Chorus of Portal, and another card from this set, the Eternal Sun. So I do like that card in that respect, is that it just draw you a card every turn, and it would be good in kind of that group huggy shell. But I don't know about this card. It seems like it only really fits in that. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
See that.
Okay. Let's talk about Kunema, Tyrant of Orazca.
Alright, I think Kumena is probably like the go-to Merfolk.
Murloc.
Sorry.
Murloc.
Oh.
He's throwing some Marvel in here. Murloc.
Oops. No, the clear Merfolk commander. And, I mean, at least for me, because it lets you draw cards. And, I mean, like, the other stuff is kind of cool, but it lets you draw cards. No, I think that the tap 5 on tap Merfolk is actually pretty relevant in Commander if you're like really go wide. And then giving it unblockable is not that great, but I could see it being very, very, very useful at certain points in the game, especially for Commander damage and stuff like that.
Yeah, like if you want to go Voltron.
Yeah.
So with me, like this is the go-to Merfolk Commander.
Yeah.
Period. Because the only other one that is actually tribal is the Azorius one, Sig. And Sig only gets protection, and this one does so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just really good for Merfolk. I think it's one of the ones that they actually needed to get a good, solid tribing commander. Because they're just kind of okay before.
Mm-hmm. They did with this what they did not do with Werewolves and give it a good commander.
Yeah, they learned from their mistake.
Rest in peace, Ulrich. When I see this card and I think, what will happen if I have 15 Merfolk? Am I going to put 3 counters on everything or draw 5 cards? And that's really where this like card speaks to me a little bit. It's the versatility of it. Is you can really choose how you want to do this. If you want to go really wide, you could just draw a bunch of cards. And just put counters on everything. Or if you want to go for a more Voltron build, you could just put some Merfolk in your deck that pump like some Lords and then tap them to make Kunema unblockable. There's a lot of really awesome directions you can go with this card, and I'm a big fan of how it is in Commander.
Yeah, and there's one card that's really good with him, which is Intruder Alarm.
Yep.
See?
Oh, God.
Which is just ridiculous. So you could just be like, oh yeah, draw 17 cards, and then we'll be
Yeah,
good.
just be glad he doesn't have the ability to create a merfolk. I mean, yeah, merfolk. I got it right this time. All right.
Yeah,
God,
because
that'd
that
be
could be broken with that card. It would literally go infinite, pretty much.
God, intruder alarm. Yeah, I didn't consider that.
Well-
Man, that's gross.
Aren't there creatures that you can remove like a 1/1 counter from them to make a creature?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yikes, that's disgusting. Let's not think
Got
about
that.
that anymore.
All right, time to combo off.
I'll draw like a million cards now. Then the one non-merfolk Lamp Maniac. Oh, that's when you play like that 3-mana enchantment that makes everything a merfolk, so it's still a merfolk in your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Arcane adaptation. Alright.
And also with the Kindred cards, he has the 2 best Kindred cards as well. The blue one and the green one are the 2 best.
What does the green one do?
It's like puts reveal the top card of your library until you hit X amount of creatures
that's right.
of the chosen type. Yeah.
Oh, put them into your hand or something like
Yeah.
that?
No, on the battlefield
Oh.
at instant speed. It's also 7 mana though, so it's kind of
Alright.
But it's Commander.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I know they have a Kindred Discovery too with the blue, and that is very powerful.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
My favorite one from the cycle.
I mean, the white one is pretty good too to put those divinity counters on Myojin.
That's
Good
true.
combo. Anyways, yeah, Kinema is great. Let's go ahead and move on here. And let's start with Protean Raider with the best art of all time. What is that?
It looks like it's like a raptor in pirate clothing.
I'm pretty sure it's a Zubera, alright?
Undisputed. Alright, JP, why is this one of your favorite cards?
So it's the cheapest clone ever printed. I mean, other than that, it doesn't just die like Phantasmal Image, but like, it's actually like, I know that triggering raid is not necessarily the easiest thing to do, but like, clones are normally somewhat powerful in Commander, and just having a clone that's 3 mana is pretty useful.
Fair. Yeah, and even,
Plus,
even
like-
if you don't have raid, it's 3-mana bear. Not bad.
Plus it's a shapeshifter pirate. Like, come on.
It is a shapeshifter pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this card in certain aspects. I think Commander has a lot of fun with it because raid, while it's not the easiest thing to do, it's also not the hardest thing. You just turn something sideways, and this turns it on, and it's any creature on the battlefield too. So it is a clone for anything. So you get to copy those Zubera tokens your opponents have.
Or those morphs.
Oh yeah, or the morphs.
And
What could they be?
the kind of interesting thing is it's actually better than a clone if the board's completely empty, because you can always play it as a 3-mana 2/2.
When relevant, there will be a time when it's relevant.
Yeah.
God. Alright, let's talk about Champion of Dusk.
Alright, so this is actually probably one of my favorite cards in the set for vampires. It's just like, enter the battlefield, draw a million cards. Like, even if it's just by itself, even if it's just draw a single card, like, it's still ridiculous. Like, at that point, it's pretty good, but like, if you're 2-3 cards, it's like complete value. And you
Does
get
the
a
life loss matter, though? That's the
Vampires
big
is
thing.
such a lifelink sub-theme that I don't think it's such a huge problem. Probably.
Alright, Pithy,
And they'll
you're
probably
resident,
end up-
like Vampire Lord. What's your opinion?
I love the card. It's very powerful. Edgar,
Oh,
throw this into
God.
Edgar. Draw like, you're guaranteed 2 cards with Edgar.
Yeah.
So that's when it's really good. And yeah, the life loss could be relevant, but you're gonna be killing your opponent with those cards you draw. So
True.
as long as you don't draw or lose too much life, you should be okay. But there's a lot of lifelink vampires out there, so
And I
shouldn't
mean-
be too much of a problem.
In Commander, you're probably not going to have enough vampires out to kill you. I hope.
You
I mean,
never
at that
know.
point, you don't need to play it to win the game. So, unless someone has a
Yeah.
Too good. All right, now let's talk about Verdant Force. I mean, Tenjutsu Dryad.
Alright, so I feel like the Verdant Force effect on a 5-drop is actually like a lot more relevant than on an 8-drop because that's a lot more turns that you're going to be getting saplings. And the fact that it's each upkeep means that your Send turns on really, really quickly, which means that you're making 3/3 saplings, which makes it even better than Verdant Force. And like 3/3 saplings each upkeep is like ridiculous. So,
However, it is only a 2/2.
yes.
So
Yes.
it dies to like everything. It does.
That-
How does that relate to the rest of the card?
I feel like it makes it worse, but at the same time, like in standard, I think that's why it's probably not gonna see play. But like, I still feel like it's pretty good in limited, and it's pretty good in commander, just because of people don't tend to have so many targeted removal things that can just kill like 2/2s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no lightning bolts, lightning strikes, and stuff like that, because those cards just aren't good in Commander, because people are usually playing a bunch of 4 toughness or 5 toughness creatures. So, yeah, I think this card's pretty good. The clause just to give saplings +2/+2 is super powerful. It's basically like an overrun, you know, except out the trample, but it's still pretty powerful.
Break out
And I
those
guess-
Sapperling commander decks.
Yeah,
Gave.
not again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we have to revisit saplings again.
No.
or fungus, actually. Sorry. Not saplings.
I do really like this card. I don't know how the 2/2 really affects it. I feel like it doesn't do much for it in Commander. Like, it's still just going to be really powerful. And this fits right into decks like Marin that really is able to abuse that sack and all the creatures that it gets. And I feel like it's very, very good. It's a slam dunk in a lot of those decks. All right, let's move on. All right, my turn now. So, hands down, my favorite card in the set is Azor the Lawbringer. This card is so good. Like, it's first off, it's a 6-mana 6/6 flyer, which is already very good. It's a big body that literally silences your opponent when it enters, which is awesome. And then whenever it attacks, it gets X, white, blue, blue, so Sphinx's Revelation, gain its life, draw X cards. My only grudge with this card is that you have to tap out when it attacks. The big power of Sphinx's Rev is that it was an instant. You could do it at the end of their turn. That's my big grudge with it, but besides that, I love this card.
This card looks amazing to me. The only I feel like it's pretty fair most of the time. The reason that I think it could be really terrifying is in Brago. You can pretty much make it so that people are permanently silenced, and that's really scary.
That is true.
Luckily, I don't play that many instants and sorceries. I play mostly creatures, so.
That is true, though. Yeah, that's a scary combo if you have, like, Conjurer's Closet or Brago. Yeah, that could be gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Azor. It's also great from a lore standpoint from y'all out there who follow the lore. Azor founded the Azorius, and he's, like, the reason why Sphinxes are all, like, mystical and stuff. So, I do love this card. I'm going to definitely test with it in Standard and Commander and stuff. In Commander, it seems meh as a Commander. It seems like it'd be a lot better than 99 and something like a Braga deck for sure.
Yeah. Because you really want to be able to abuse his effect, and you have to play Brago on your 99 if you want to abuse it, and that's not good, because you're pretty much not going to hit it, especially in Azorius, unless you're going to draw a bunch of cards.
For sure.
Yep.
Alright. Next card I put on my list was Watley Radiant Champion. Now, when you first look at this card, you feel a bit underwhelmed, which is definitely how I felt. But looking into this a little more, this is what I came up with. For formats like Standard, this card will never see Modern play. For Standard, Um, if there's some kind of Abzan tokens, which is already a thing, or like a green-white tokens deck starts to make a comeback, this card becomes actually insane. The -1 seems like kind of a win more in my opinion, so I don't really see that ever being used. But her +1 is very good. Like, you're able to plus it, sometimes just make like an unkillable planeswalker, and her emblem is pretty much you win the game a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I personally hate the -1, especially in Commander. People just chump it all day.
Yeah.
So you never using the -1. +1 in Celestia tokens, you're 100% gonna make a lot of counters on that. And the good thing is what it says is whenever a creature, it doesn't say non-token. So whenever you cast like Raise the Alarm or something like that, you draw cards for those tokens. So that's pretty good. And she definitely probably won't die in Commander if you're playing a token deck, unless somebody has a huge flyer or whatever. But
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like in Standard, though, there's a chance it could see playing in conjunction with, like, Heart of Kirin.
Oh, interesting.
And then at that point, it's kind of like -1 is ridiculous. Sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. I just wish
I
the
feel like if
-1 gave trample.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I feel like that's why it was a -1, though, not like a -2 or -.
Yeah, because it's not good.
Oh, yeah.
Alright. And my next card was Time Stream Navigator. When I first saw this card, I thought it was bad, and I still kind of think it's bad. But I saw a tweet by former world champion Seth Manfield of, it's not as broken as Felidar Guardian, but Saheeli plus this equals smiley face. And I saw that, I'm like, huh, this is actually pretty sweet. So in like a standard format, you have something like a Saheeli Rai, with which a lot of the time people aren't going to pay much attention to it because Felidar's gone. So you like uptick it a few times, and then you drop Time Stream Navigator, and you're able to take like 3 turns in a row. Which is not like game ending, but it's certainly very, very powerful. And this card seems very good. Also want to address the infinite turn combo with Grenzo, Dungeon Warden.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You get Grenzo and Lightning Greaves.
Yep. You don't even need the counters on Grenzo too, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's like really good in Commander if that happens. Like, it's not ridiculously difficult. Like, it's not going to happen every game, but like, it's not that difficult to set up, which is kind of scary.
Mm-hmm. But the main problem is that Grenzo can't actually run it in the 99. But it's blue. So what would be a good commander for that?
One that lets you draw you cards that is in the 3 colors, right?
Yeah, Grixis.
Yeah. I mean, you could play like... Yeah, but you just kill people with Nekisar with the wheel. That's you don't even need extra turns. Like Thrax. Thraxmundar is good.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because you can actually play like a graveyard-focused deck with him, like a sacrifice deck or whatever, and just have the Grenzo as value, because you're just putting cards in the graveyard anyways. And then Time Stream can just be their combo with it. And that's what I can think of, at least, for Commander-wise.
Yeah, Grixis doesn't have a lot, minus the Elephant Moon, Nekusar.
Or you can just play Nicobolas, just play generic Commander.
True. Yeah, for all you non-Nekusar Grixis people out there, it's a fun little combo. Just put in your deck. Yeah, I really like this card. Alright, next I have Azor's Gateway, which flips into Sanctum of the Sun. This card is busted. Like, busted. I'm thinking like Modern Tron when I think of this card. It's so good. You're able to, especially in a deck with that has a good curve, you're able to exile a card, draw a card, then exile something, and just kind of get that going, and then you have pretty much infinite mana, and it's insane.
Yeah. Basically, life gain staple in Commander. There's no way you're not running this, because like, oh yes, 70 mana, that sounds good to me. Dump my whole hand. Gain more life. catch your commander an infinite amount of times. So it's pretty busted.
Yeah, this seems ridiculous. But my only question is, do you think that a control deck would want this in like standard?
Probably, because it draws you cards and you can just pitch those useless things. Like, so you're going against like a control mirror. Your removal is basically useless. So you just exile your removal cards and hopefully draw good action cards.
Yeah, I can see it as like a 1 or 2 of.
Yeah, and then once you hit infinite mana, you probably have enough draw spells to like draw almost your draw.
This card plus pull from tomorrow is fun.
Yeah, or just this card and Azor is pretty good.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do really like Azor's Gateway / Signal of the Sun. Very, very strong in multiple formats.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about Relic of Grafdigger's Cage. Silent Grafstone. This card, when I saw this card, I thought, okay, let's break Legacy Storm a little bit. Let's make Protection from Surgical and Hose Reanimator, please. Like, this card is very, very strong. I don't know if it replaces Relic of Agendus or Grafdigger's Cage. Definitely does in Legacy and Storm. But in those other decks, I don't really know. It's just, what do you guys feel about this card?
I'm not sure all the different interactions to like, because like I know like Dredge works through it, so like it kind of works. Only against certain decks, like I don't know. It feels like it's not hate enough to really beat a lot of graveyard decks, but then it's really good at protecting your graveyard from graveyard removal. So like it's just kind of, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like a graveyard hate spell that you can use to actually protect your graveyard from other people.
Yeah.
And if you want to, you can stack it to draw a card and exile all graveyards. Now, unfortunately for me in Commander, I'm the graveyard player, so that probably that would probably hurt me the most. But I think it's fine.
Card in every deck I play.
And then I run a disenchant always. Just.
I feel like this card's main home is going to be Legacy, just because it's a lot better. It protects because a lot of the stuff in Legacy is targeted, like Surgical Extraction and Reanimate, Animate Dead. A lot of those fun cards are all targeted, and like I said, decks like Storm really like to run this card. So I feel like that's what's going to be its main home. Standard, it hoses God Pharaoh's Gift a little bit, but I don't know if it's really even worth running that because it doesn't stop actual God Pharaoh's Gift. It stops Refurbish.
Yeah.
But I feel like it'll just push people to play like a Gate to the Afterlife instead.
Yeah. It stops Scarab God. So if the Scarab God gets ridiculous, it's possible to see play.
It's very true. Alright, and now my favorite uncommon in the set. I would pick this over several rares in draft. And definitely going in standard, Thrashing Brontodon. A 3-mana 3/4 with upside. Check, please. What's the hate about this card?
Yeah, it just seems overstated, but like the amount of utility it gives is like ridiculous.
Yeah. So, my opinion, this is a mono green staple card in Commander because there's like no downside to this card. Like you can reanimate it by stacking it, to kill something, so you can constantly reanimate stack stuff. To just blow up other artifacts or enchantments. It's a good sized creature, unlike Acclamation Sage, which is usually just a chump blocker most of the time. So I think it's pretty good. Definitely going into a lot of my green decks, that's for sure.
For sure.
And I feel like there's a chance it could see play in sideboard standard, or maybe we'll see play in the dinosaur deck.
I think for sure it's going to see sideboard standard play in stuff like Teamer Energy and all those green decks. People are talking of a new dinosaur deck, which perhaps could be a thing. I think this card definitely does. Like I said, there's little downside to this card. You could even play it main deck. It's a 3-mana 3/4. It doesn't die to a Braid. You need energy to harness it. Like, what's the downside with this card? It is so good. I'm a very big fan. Alrighty. And now, the last page. I'll start with a kind of a underdog in this set, Famished Paladin. When I think of this card, I think this is the card that Vampires needed to be a good standard deck. It was like missing one card, and a 2-mana 3/3 is what it needed. This with like Monument, Oketch's Monument, and that stuff makes this card insanely good.
Yeah. And the thing in Commander, Vampire decks are low in the 1 and 2 drop slots. Unlike your best 2 drop is like Blood Artist, which isn't really that good. It only protects you against board wipes. Because people don't want to Wrath and lose all their life. So this is a pretty good one. Very aggressive card, and gaining life is so easy.
The only thing, though, is I feel like at that point, like, Johnny's Pride Mate is so much better than this.
Fair in a way. I feel it is a vampire, so you got all them synergies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see that. A Johnny's Pride Mate and this card get along very well. Also, what do you think about the new, the 2-mana 1/1 that when it enters you lose life and draw a card for vampires?
Very good.
Yeah, I feel like it's very good.
It is just the Elvis Visionary for black.
Do you think it sees play in other black decks aside from vampires?
Hopper? Yes.
Hopper, yeah. But like, in Commander, I don't know. You got Night's Whisper and stuff like that, which is just better. Possibly. I'm not sure. Vampires 100% would play it, because why not? It's a vampire. You get to draw a card off of it. And, it's not a bad card overall.
Yeah, I think the problem in Commander is that no one really wants 1/1, like, most of the time.
Yeah.
So, like...
Fair, but it's a 1/1 with upside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it would have to... Yeah, you just have to kind of beat out Night's Whisper and Wraith the Bones and stuff like that, which is pretty much where it kind of sits.
Alright. Now time for my favorite Elder Dinosaur. You guys had yours. I chose green. And I look at this card, and it reminds me way too much of Emrakul: The Promised End. It's a huge, above 10 power creature that has trample and can come down early. It scares me when I think of standard, especially since we got that 5/5 and play an extra land. It just makes this card cost 7.
Yeah, and I feel like the downside in this card is not so big. Like, yes, you may have no other creatures, so it actually costs 12 mana, but like, if you have no other creatures, like, I mean, you're not doing so well anyway. Like, it's maybe a kind of win more card, but like, it's more of an end the game card. It's just because like going like from like a 2-drop, 3-drop, then can you play this on 4 sometimes? Like, when's the earliest? Yeah,
you could definitely do that. There's just like, there's stuff that can make this card very powerful in standard, and it scares me a little bit. I don't think it's gonna break standard how Emrakul did, not even close. And it could be kind of like a win more card, but it is very, very powerful.
Yes. For Commander, I love this card. It's probably my second favorite Elder Dinosaur.
Really?
Trailing behind Italy. Because in Commander, you got stuff like the new dinosaur we just saw. You got Rampaging Bailouts, which puts 10 power into play if you play the land. So you get 1 creature, 2 creatures, you could just have a 2-mana Galta. It also just massively reduces commander tax too.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Which is very relevant. And I like this card, and I'm probably going to build like a mono green stompy deck, like Rampaging Bailouts and stuff like that.
Do you think this is good as a Voltron commander? Or just like a BD commander?
I feel like you need creatures to play it, which is why I don't love it for Voltron, but...
Yeah, I mean, well, you hit somebody twice with this thing, they're dead. So, I mean, that's just enough reason to really play it. I don't know if you really need to play it as a Voltron, just kind of like value.
I mean, you probably play like the Swift with Boots and the whatever the other ones are, and
Red
then
Breeze.
Just get a double
work it in.
strike.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very real. Yeah, I love this card as well. It's definitely sweet in Commanders. I didn't consider the Commander tax, which is
Yeah.
very, very legit.
Yeah, and you can definitely easily get this thing for 2 mana every time.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Commander.
Which is terrifying. Like 2 mana, 12/12.
It's back!
Just like the gods, never dies. Just
Oh,
boom,
God.
there it is.
See, I'm just imagining like the animation will add to this, and you'll just hear like the rumbling, and you're like, oh no.
Like the
It just literally just crashes your computer. That's what happens.
Jurassic Park. Hey, we're not crashing computers over anymore. What was that card?
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight. Yeah, that's banned. My computer cannot handle that card. All right.
New legacy strategy. See whose computer can't handle fight or flight.
Yeah.
It's legit.
Or it's like what was it? The one that made you had to choose which step
Oh,
to skip.
oh my God.
Because that one literally just made your opponent time out because they were so bugged that they couldn't choose, so they just timed out.
Fun stuff to do on Magic Online. Hopefully Galta won't break Magic Online, but you know it might. Galta's a big dude.
And now we get to the possibly the most standard playable card on that.
All right, Merfolk Mistbinder, and I put this here. Also talking about the vampire one, the white-black one, 2/2. Other vampires get +1/+1. These cards are legit. They're just 2-mana lords. We were promised lords from Mark Rosewater, and he did deliver. They don't give Island Walk, unfortunately, which would be, slightly broken. But when I think of Merfolk Mistbinder, I think of the modern Merfolk deck, and I think this is the last card because there was still a bit of dispute of whether to go blue-green or mono-blue, and this is the last card that pushes it into the solid blue-green is better than the mono-blue version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I would like to talk about the vampire one, which is, like I said, vampires really needed 2-drops, and that is a great 2-drop to have.
Mm-hmm.
Just 2-mana lord, just curve in. You could do basically just lords for the first 4 turns of the game in ETH vampires, and you just got so much power on the board.
Edgar loves that card.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. I mean, both those cards are they're already 2/2s for 2. I mean, they're not amazing at that point, but the fact that +1/+1 is not a small buff, that's gonna make your 1/1 tokens that are plentiful in both archetypes ridiculous,
Mm-hmm.
and it just seems really powerful.
Yeah, this card is legit for modern and standard and even commander. I'm sure that Kumena will love this card.
Yeah. See, I've been working on a 4-color Morphoke deck to get all the relevant ones, because you get some good black ones.
There's black
some good,
Merfolk?
Yeah. Ink Phantom Witch, which is the one where their unblocked creatures turn into 4/1s.
Okay.
Let me guess, there are no red merfolk?
There are some, but they're not good. The only good one is Jurian,
Oh, yeah.
Rune Diver.
Jorian is a fun card.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
forgot
know
that
any
card
other
existed.
red Merfolk. Oh, you're not playing the Goblin Merfolk? Razor Fin of Death?
Unfortunately not.
What do you guys think?
The thinger.
Do you guys think they're going to print more merfolk in Dominaria?
Maybe.
Maybe, because Merfolk were a big thing in Dominaria.
Yeah.
It's possible.
I think since we just had a lot of Merfolk here, it's unlikely. But if they did, then Standard will weep. Give me the fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel they're not just for that reason, but then at the same time, people are going to be annoyed if they don't print a new merfolk because it was a pretty heavy I don't know.
They might like have a handful, but like no clear tribal support from Merfolk. So you might have like a pinger or something, or one that draws cards, random ones, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
One thing I would like to point out, though, is they did not make a pirate legend.
They did not make a pirate legend.
Which is very disappointing.
I wonder why.
They felt like Admiral Beckett Brass was the best pirate legend they could ever make, so...
R&D was like, we can't top ourselves, I mean... Oops.
I mean, I half feel like they had a pirate legend, and then they were like, oh no, this is broken. So that's why we have so many reprints in this.
I feel like they were saying, oh no, this is bad, and then they stopped.
Probably.
Yeah, the one weird thing, though, is that there are 5 reprints from Ixalan in this set, which, I mean, for a limited perspective, fine, whatever, like, it makes limited a little bit better, but, like, it's still annoying.
Yeah, and they're just, like, most of them are... most of them are just commons, too. Like Legion Conquistadors and stuff.
Yeah, and,
which is good for, like, if you're drafting both the blocks.
Yeah, I feel like that card was, like, the only card that I would be happy. Like, the other ones were, like, a 2-mana 3-1, which, whatever. If they printed a 2-mana 3-1 with different art, like, fine.
No, it's
like,
different flavor text.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
It's OP.
Yeah.
I mean, Colossal Dreadmaw's a bomb, so I have no problem with printing those and getting more of those in my deck.
Yeah, I mean, the cards that they reprinted weren't terrible, but they're not, like...
Yeah, they're not.
I mean,
great.
They can't reprint rares. Like, that would be ridiculous, so...
Yeah.
Like I said, they did this in Cons... I think it's more to show, like, from a lore standpoint, like, the differences. Because they did the Cons Dragons of, like, the Cons version than the Dragons version. So I can see where they're coming from in that, but it seems really forced in this set.
Yeah. There is an honorable mention, too, which is Zach Amon, which I butchered the name horribly, but I don't care. Which is the giant dinosaur legend that is...
Is it the white one?
Absurdly powerful.
Oh, Zakama?
Oh, Zakama?
Yeah, Zakama.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So I call that worse than Gishath. Because it's not
for a tribal dinosaur.
You call it worse than Gishath, and then it comes down and untaps all their lands, and then wipes everyone else's board, and just like, maybe not.
Well, for tribal dinosaurs, yes, it is worse, because Gishath basically just dumps all those creatures into play. This one's just standalone good by itself.
Yeah. The interesting thing about it, though, is that the way they worded it, it's like whenever you cast it, but I don't think it has the from your hand clause. So it's just like whenever you cast it.
Which is like Marvel.
Good thing that's banned. Or else it's pretty
not Commander.
Yeah, I heard some people talking that like this was their card that they wanted to have next as Aetherworks Marvel target before they knew that they were going to ban Aetherworks Marvel.
This card would be absurd with Marvel. Like, I'll spin Marvel, tap out, or I'll respond to the trigger, tap all my lands, untap, tap lands, cast one. That's humongous. Untap lands. You literally Dinosaur Storm.
Yeah.
I mean, or you just use his abilities, like, or I get, his, I don't know.
Its
abilities.
Its abilities. Well, I feel really bad for the head in the back, because it's like, that one always gets the short end. Like, like, hey, where are we going? Shut up, back head. You're not one of the main heads.
Yeah.
Also, if you have two mana double effects, like a Mana Flare and a Heartbeat of Spring, you do have infinite mana by itself with that card.
Wait, how?
Because if you have 9 lands, you tap, they each produce 3. So you have 18. Untap it all. Keep going.
Wait, but how would you get to re-untap them?
With Zakma, with an entry in the battlefield.
You'd have to recast it, though.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
You're right. Oh, you need a way to cast it. It's not as good as Palmcron. My bad.
I think that's the reason they didn't do it like that.
They should have made the white effect return it to its hand.
Yeah.
What is
like all these abilities are very relevant too. Like killing creatures.
White one's pretty disappointing.
Is that
I mean,
gain 3
if you're
life?
almost dead, you're gonna be happy with it.
True.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'll
It's like,
play
oh, yeah,
a
I'm
9/9
at 1?
untap, gain 9.
Yeah, sounds good to me. But yeah, like all these are very relevant in Commander. Life gain not as good as the other two, but like Bolt's not good, but a recurable Bolt is definitely very good.
Do you see this
You can
card being seen as a commander by itself? And just kind of a Naya good stuff deck?
Possibly. It's a little expensive.
You
At
have
9
like
mana?
Mael for that, for good
God,
stuff.
Mael. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, like that's mostly creatures though.
This
there
fits
is a
very well into Nile though.
yeah. Big dumb creatures tend to do that. But yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't really know. I would have to play with it and see if it's just that backbreaking. And so you kind of have to play this. The thing is it's 9 mana. It's like, super expensive. So like, if it dies a couple times, you can never recast it again. It's not good anymore.
True.
But it does untap all your lands, so it's like it's expensive, but like it's not your entire turn, which
Yeah,
maybe makes it a little better.
Also relevant though, if you have commander text on it, you're still tapping some mana for it.
No, because doesn't it? Oh, wait, no, it still untaps all your lands
It
when it enters
untaps
the
up to
battlefield.
9 lands.
No, it's all lands.
Is it all lands?
all
Yeah,
all
all
lands.
Oh. I
So
should probably
it
look at the
kinda
card
gets
while talking
around-
about it.
Yeah, it kind of gets around commander text, but not really, because you have to have the lands to be able to cast it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So it just basically just replaces itself. So it's not bad. It's just I don't like playing 9 mana commanders. That's just me.
Oh shoot, I forgot to put on Angrath. Whatever.
Angrath,
one of my-
I'm not a fan.
I'm a fan because I like his -3. It was an effect that I really wanted to see on a card, and they finally put it on a card.
Gain control of
So-
a creature, then sack it.
Yeah, because it's like not only am I gonna hit you with your creature, it's gonna die. So you're just not gonna get it back.
I like Angrath too, but more for his +1, which is what
yeah.
I like most.
What's
Because
the
like,
plus one do? Each played opponent.
Each opponent
Discards a card and loses away.
mhm.
So not you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really good card for commander because you make your opponents discard 3 cards total, basically. So they're always losing resources, and what do you know? 8 rack in the discard effects are plentiful in commander. And Mogus would love Angrath. You know, what a convenient color combination.
Oh man, it's almost like they planned it like that.
Yeah, you want to lose your cards and your creatures? That sounds good.
We did talk about earlier in a previous video about Tezamok, the black elder dinosaur, and how it would be playable if there are other cards that put prey counters on stuff. There is none.
Yeah.
It's the only card that mentions prey counters, which is a little bit unfortunate because this is a card that looks like it could be really good, but it's not.
I think
Yeah.
it's still fun commander though.
But it's horrible as your commander because you can't reveal.
No,
it.
not as your commander, as like in the 99.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Get
It is
that
my-
signal.
Unfortunately, the black one my least favorite.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Tetsamok.
I don't love the white one either though.
Hey, the white one is good with Audra.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, flying, double
But
strike,
yeah.
vigilance, trample, indestructible.
Keyword tribal.
Yeah. I am kind of a fan of Tetsamok in Hirobi, though, because Hirobi says when something becomes targeted by a spell or ability, person it gets destroyed. So you can just, it's a recurable Doomblade, basically. So,
Oh
That's
yeah,
not
that's
bad.
pretty good.
It's a nice combo.
but only in that deck is it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's broken in that. Everything else, it's pretty much unplayable.
So if you're a Hirobi player, you better pick up your copy. And I'm pretty sure it'll be very cheap, too.
It'll be expensive. It'll be like a whopping 20 cents.
All right, and you know, I give Blazing Hope the useless in Commander award. All right,
Which one's that?
one white mana instant exile target creature with power greater than or equal to your life total.
Oh my god, that card
Card's
is...
so bad. It's an
Who thought
uncommon
that was a
too.
good? Who thought that was a good card?
I don't know. It's like I feel like that'd be good in a set with a lot of like sacking. Like if you're able, or like a lot of life drain, or like morbid or last hour. If you're from Dark Ascension, that would be good, but not
Yeah.
in this where it's literally horrid.
Yeah, the only thing is like vampires don't even have that much life drain. In fact, they have or life loss. They have more life gain than they do life loss. So it's not even good in anything for standard, and horrible in commander. There's nothing above 40 power.
That's when
Pretty much.
That's when you kind of have the gotcha moment when you say, okay, pay him one like mana or something, some weird obscure spell that pumps it like a million times, and then you hit it with the with the exile it. What is that? Is that a 41/41? Okay, Blazing Hope.
Gotcha. You don't even get to gain the life either, too.
Nope.
Take that. Strictly better than swords in that situation. But otherwise, it's unplayable.
Not a fan. What can we award worst mythic in the set to? I'm gonna go with
Worst-
Polyraptor.
Oh, I like that
Polyraptor
card.
is so bad. It's an 8-mana 5/5 with Enrage, and you make another Polyraptor.
I think Trapjaw Tyrant's a little bit worse.
Oh, is that the Banishing Dino?
Yeah. Well, vanishing. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's also pretty bad. It's only creatures too. Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And
horrible.
like then they just kill it, and then it's like, wait, I spent 5 mana for what again?
Yeah. I gotta look and see if I can find.
Ooh, all right. And then I think most interesting enchantment in the set. There's like Blood Summon, whatever. There's Curious Obsession, which is 1 mana for a change creature gets 1/1. Whenever it deals damage to a player, draw a card,
Oh yeah.
which is slightly better Curiosity, but it's the beginning of your upkeep. If a creature didn't attack this turn, sacrifice like during your end step, sacrifice it, which is like really interesting because that's like not that hard to trigger, and like it's strictly better Curiosity if you don't have a creature to sack. Like if you attack every turn, which I don't know, it just seems really interesting.
Yeah, like Blue Boggles really likes that card, like Bant Boggles or Mono Blue Boggles. It just replaces Curiosity, because that's why they played blue. And this
Yeah.
card is literally just strictly better, and it's pretty insane. Just +1/+1 and get to draw a card. Because even if it gets like the creature dies or gets sacked, you still drew a card with it, which is very good.
Yeah.
Well, I will actually award the worst card in the set is Form of the Dinosaur.
Hey. They tried to play Form of the Dragon with the dinosaur, and it didn't work.
It literally kills you. Like, it's not even as good. It's like, it would
Yeah,
be,
it's pretty bad.
like, it only hits creatures, and, like, you don't even gain the life back like you would with Form of the Dragon.
But you can kill Emrakul.
And then die.
No, that's when you have Dampening Pulse to give all your creatures all creatures your opponents control -1/-0. And then go to 1.
See, now, if it was a May, it would be a little bit better. But, like, the fact that you always have to kill the creature.
Yeah,
It's
this
like, oh, I'm
card's
at 1.
playable nowhere.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, I'm at 1 life. I'll have to kill your 1/1. Then I'll die.
Oh, you're dead.
And what do you guys think about the red mana 2/2, the 1 mana 2/2 in for red for human pirate, reveal a pirate or pay 2 extra?
I like it if you're in a Daring Buccaneer. If you're in more
Yeah.
of a pirate deck, and you're just pretty much super tribal, I like it. It's just a 1 mana 2/2.
Yeah, I feel like I'm very surprised red would get that's a pretty easy 1 mana 2/2. I'd surprised red would get that.
Yeah.
They have to cut red Sunbreak.
Yeah, I think the only other one like that, I don't even think they did one in lore when that was 1 mana either.
Mm-hmm.
I know they had a 2 mana one, which was the 2 mana 2/2 Fear, but you had to reveal a goblin.
Yeah, I mean there's Silverglaw Adept, which is also 2 mana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean like I feel like it's just it's like it's really really powerful. I mean, red didn't even get 2-mana 2/2s till pretty recently. Like,
Didn't
Yeah.
even have grizzly bears.
Or if they had a grizzly bear, it was always bad. Like it
Yeah.
always had a huge downside to it where you didn't want to play it.
Can we talk about how bad Induce Amnesia is? It's like, it's bad. It's like the cutest combo if you're able to kill it and then draw more cards. Like
Oh,
some
yeah,
commander decks really like it, but it is bad.
I mean, to be fair, it could draw you like 7 cards. So like it's not great, but like it does have those cases
it's just
when
a
it's
wheel.
really good.
Yeah.
But you can get
one
the cards
player-
back, so like it's not quite a. I don't know.
It's weird. Also, can we
Personally.
note how Release to the Wind is a rare? 2 in a blue. Exile target online permanent. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may cast it without paying its mana cost. Are you serious? The card is trash.
Yeah. I heard people saying that like you're basically only using it to protect your own stuff, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. And then
And I was like, eh.
It seems
I'd rather
pretty
just
good
like
with
Ghostly
Elemental
Flicker
Behold.
or something.
yeah. But there's also Dire Fleet Poisoner, which just shows you power creep, right? I think 2 sets ago we got the first ever 2/2 for 2 in black.
Mm.
And now we get a 2/2 for 2 with Flash and Death Touch and gives attacking pirate +1 Death Touch.
True.
Like, that's so much value in a 2/2 for 2. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I know that it's rare and like it needs to be better than normal 2/2s for 2.
Normal
but like,
bears.
Yeah.
it's still a pretty powerful card.
What do you guys think of Arch of Oraska? The
Um,
land with Ascend. You tap to add colorless, 5 tap draw card. Activate only if you have the City's Blessing.
So I love it in control decks where you're always giving up your mana. You could just use it to consistently draw cards. Other than that, I don't know if you'll be spending 5 mana to draw cards in like an aggro deck or something.
Commander?
You know, like Commander. Yeah,
I feel like it's good in Commander.
I mean, it's fine. Like there's other like draw
I feel like
effects
there's
that
just
are
so many other
better.
better ones like Gyreed Sanitarium.
Yeah,
Or
but like,
Mikakuru.
Oh yeah, Mikukuro. Yeah, but that's like $30 for some reason.
Yeah.
I still feel like I know that it's like difficult to turn on, but like if you're really at the point of the game where like you really have no cards in hand, which has happened to us before, having the ability to draw an extra card on one of your lands is like pretty
Yeah, fair.
nice.
Yeah. And I do like the tutors for the creatures.
Yeah, I do really like this cycle.
Yes.
The,
The only one I'm not really a fan of is the dinosaur one because it can kill your creatures.
that's
I
true.
mean, it's good for enrage, but like, there's not that many great enrage abilities you want to trigger constantly. And it's like, oh, you're a really good like mana discounters can die if you just play 2 creatures.
Yeah.
But Paul
And like, oh yeah,
I will get a Polyraptor, then another one, and then I'll get 4, and then 8.
yeah. But the good thing is it is a May, so that's something that's good. But other than that, I'm not really a big fan of the benefit. It's like the vampire one is target opponent loses 1 life, right?
Yeah. No, the vampire one is enters the battlefield, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
Oh, it must be the pirate one that is the
The
life
pirate one
loss.
is, each opponent loses 1 life.
Yeah.
And
Oh, each opponent? That's pretty good.
Each opponent.
yeah. And I like how creative they're being this set. Mutiny, the 1 mana red card. Target creature an opponent controls deals damage equal to its power to another target creature that player controls. Like, it's not an amazing card by any stretch of the imagination, but it's such a creative card. Like,
I hate
just
that
really
it's a sorcery.
Yeah.
If it were an instant, it'd be insanely good. But the fact that
I
it's
feel like
sorcery
if-
makes it really bad.
I feel like if it was an instant, it would be so broken though, because you just have like your opponent's like, oh, I'm gonna block these 2 creatures, and you're like,
Nah.
now they're just taking lethal because now they have to fight each other. I mean, only
don't
one of them
fight,
does
only
damage,
one of
but
them.
like, yeah.
If they were a
But, like-
fight, it'd be pretty broken.
Yeah, and another one that's kind of interesting is the cycle for the creature types. It's like the Buccaneer's Bravado, which is the one that gives creature +1/+1 first strike. Or you have a vampire, or not vampire, pirate, and it gets +1/+1 and gains double strike. So you kind of still get the effect on the card for other creatures, but it's just better for the Pacific tribe.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you guys think of Rekindling Phoenix?
I am not a fan. I think the card is bad. Enough said.
I think it's the best Phoenix.
It's
for
definitely the
bringing
best
itself.
Phoenix, but Phoenix are all horrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it wouldn't
so
be a
the
Magic set without a mythic rare Phoenix this season. Absolutely no play.
Well, the interesting thing about this card for me is that against certain decks, they just have no way to get rid of it. And then
If you
it
kill
could be...
the token, it never comes back.
That's true, that's true. Yeah, alright.
Whereas the other ones can come back from the graveyard if you just pay an ungodly amount of mana. Or the formidable one, which I think is the second best Sphinx.
I like the
Phoenix.
tribute one. That was one of my favorites.
They're gonna be like a red-blue control deck, and this is gonna be the finisher.
God, Phoenix Tribal.
Because
and there is another vampire spirit as well. The Vampire Revenant. It's not really good, but it's definitely worth noting because there's not too many vampire spirits out there. Bloodghast is one of the other ones.
No one mentioned Mastermind's acquisition.
Which one is that?
The Diabolic Tutor / choose a card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand.
Probably because it's not good.
But in Commander, will they let you just search your entire Moto collection in Commander?
No.
No?
No.
How does it work on Moto?
Because I know
it just says like you can't do it or something like that.
It's
it's
so
weird.
dumb.
So it would just be no demonic tutor. But
So,
it's
like,
not bad.
I mean, it's like really good in like actual Commander, but in Moto Commander, then it's not that great. Because like in real Commander, it's like pick a card that you specifically would be amazing right now. Like it doesn't matter as long as you own it, obviously. But like the question is, could you pick cards that are not legal in Commander?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was one of the concerns with Spike, one of the uncards.
Yeah,
it was like you can just get banned cards. So it's like, oh yeah, Emrakul. Sounds good to me.
All right, I think that's gonna do it for us here on Top Deck MTG with our favorite cards from Rivals of Ixalan and a few more. Make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and check out all of our other content here on Top Deck MTG. We have some Commander videos called Commander Royale, which is pretty sweet. Stay tuned for the next episode of that. Some draft videos, some constructed videos, and yeah, it's pretty sweet. You guys got any closing thoughts?
The set looks awesome. I would definitely recommend getting a lot of the cards we mentioned because a lot of them are probably going to be, like a few of them are going to be expensive because of standard reasons and for Commander reasons.
Yep. Yeah, it seems like
No, go ahead.
Seems like the first really good set in a while, which hopefully I'm not overhyping it, but
yeah. Well, we got Dominaria coming out next, so hopefully that one's good.
Yeah, leads into second good times in Magic for a while.
Hopefully. Karn liberated.
Reprint Karn liberated.
No.
12 mana.
12 mana Karn. Let's see it. We're calling it right here.
His +1 is you win the game.
He
doesn't need any other ones.
His +1, you win the game. 0, you draw the game. -1, you lose the game.
And you draw a card too.
And draw a card, yes.
Well, I feel like you have to make it better, right? +1, target player draws cards, infinite number of cards, right? Because like, just add the flexibility of choosing who loses the game, in addition to killing yourself with drawing cards. Like,
yeah. So I actually was hoping that they were going to do it to Fairy Planeswalker. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to do that, or if they're going to do over a Planeswalker, but it would be really cool if they did those, because they actually hadn't had a standard legal Teferi Planeswalker. They've
Yeah.
had Teferi, but they have not had a Planeswalker version of him in Standard.
True.
Yeah, it could be interesting.
All right.
Mhm.
Stay tuned for that. This is NHA37, joined by Pithy Morrow and JP Player 1127, saying thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.